Page 22. Properties of equality and properties of congruence are pretty much the same. When we're talking about two angles that are congruent, that means that the measure of their angles are the same. So angle A and angle B have the same measure of angle. Now, there are multiple properties such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division that you already know from algebra. And those are true for both regular numbers, regular equations, and the angle equations. So when we equate these two, the measures of these two angles, we're pretty much doing the same as if we say 2 equals 2. Well, if we subtract 2 from each side, they'd still be equal to each other. So whatever you do to one side and you do to the other side, it will still be a true statement. And this is just the case for the measure of these angles. If you divide this side and you also divide this side by the same number, these measures are still equal. If you subtract from each side the same number, they are still equal. And you can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now there are a few other properties. One is the partition property. The partition property just means when you have, say, two angles. I'm going to write two angles out here. And let's say this small angle here is angle A, and this bigger one is angle B, and then both of these combined, so angle B plus angle A plus angle B equals the larger, which is the combined one, and we'll call that one C. So this is angle C, the big one that combines both of them. If you say, if this is true here, then C is bigger than either angle B or angle A. Now you have the reflexive property that it just means that an angle such as angle A is equal to itself. That's pretty much given. Transitive property means that, and one big mistake here was that when I wrote these are congruent, you must have this little squiggly line right here. I'm getting kind of sideways here. I'm going to make sure this is a little bit straighter down here. Yeah, so make sure you have that little squiggly congruent sign on top. Then you have your transitive property. That means if angle A is congruent. Oh, I messed up my squiggly line there. Yeah, okay, that's a congruent sign. It's congruent to angle B, and angle B is congruent to angle C. So these are the same measure, and these two are the same measure. Well, by basic logic, A should also be congruent to C. That's the transitive property. So angle A is congruent to angle C. That's transitive property, and then you have the substitution. That means that if both of these measures